Right, it's been a while since I've done an interview last. So coming up on my show now, we have a Scottish solo singer-songwriter who has a passion for music. Welcome to my show. It's a delight to introduce Mike Mckenzie on my show. We have him interactive on my video interview right now. How are we doing, Mike? How's life treating
I'm
you?
good. Thank you so much for having me. It's lovely to meet you.
Yeah, good to have you on board. Where are you situated right now? Are you up there in Scotland or are you
I
somewhere else?
am. Yeah, I'm in Edinburgh, so we're based
Nice.
up here.
What's the
Um,
weather like there? Has the sun
it's
managed to
all right.
shine?
It's trying. It's trying to be sunny. It's nearly there. We've had a few lovely days, but it's Scottish sun, so it'll come and go in seconds, but we'll be out there immediately
Yeah.
absorbing as much of it as we can.
Yeah, that's understandable. And you're a musician, obviously, I mentioned on the onset of the interview. Can you tell me what it was like, starting off as a musician? Do you have like any fond memories or highlights, going looking back?
Yeah, I think I mean I grew up in like a very musical home, which was cool. So like I always kind of had permission and access to kind of explore music as a kid. We like grew up we were like that family in the car singing like three-part harmonies, like we were like that. And so music has just always been a big part of my life. And so in school, I like learned to play a few different instruments and joined a band in high school. And we like used to we toured the UK and stuff as the like teeny bopper band, and then continued to pursue music as a writer and producer. And then it was when I met my now husband, and when we first met, we so he was in Brooklyn, he's an actor. I was in Edinburgh and was looking at trying to do more music stuff. And basically, we were like, let's just pursue the things we love. Like, let's lean in. Let's see if we can make this work and make this happen. And so, with that encouragement, started to consider myself more as a artist and as a performer instead of being behind the scenes so much. So it was really amazing. So it was a bit of a transition into being a solo artist and being a front person of a project instead of behind the scenes. And it's just been such a joy to explore that world, to meet new people. It's my favorite thing in the world is to meet people. So like to get to like tour and gig and see the audience's reaction to things and involve everyone as much as I can and yeah, explore that. It's just been amazing. Yeah.
That's amazing. Great backstory there. And to do something you enjoy and meet people as well, it's a satisfactory place to be. And one of the reasons I invited you on my show today because you're promoting and plugging a single and an album. Should we start with your new single "Homesick"? I've had a little bit of a listen to it, and I describe it as like a laid-back, chilled-out acoustic ballad.
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely so the whole album it's called I'd Wait. The whole album is called I'd Wait Again, basically because I've had my whole entire life to write it. And so I'm like 36, I just got signed, my first signing, and but actually it's exactly where I need to be right now. And the opportunity to do the album was so perfectly timed that it was like worth the wait and like I'd wait again kind of thing. But like Homesick in itself is kind of back to more of the Americana folk kind of roots because the whole album is like from pop to like jazzy things to like Americana stuff. It's like every influence I've ever had as a musician. But yeah, Homesick was one of the songs that came really late to the game as well when it came to track listing the album. We'd actually already started recording, and I was at home and was playing around on a guitar, and it kind of just fell out. I feel like I almost can't take credit for writing it. It feels like it just appeared, and it was such a perfect little snapshot of where I was there that the whole thing it was like 45 minutes I think and I just wrote the whole thing out and it's basically not changed at all since then, but it was to kind of it encapsulated how I was feeling that day, that afternoon, that moment, and in the middle of recording my debut album, and it was like sort of this sort of looking back and honestly it was like a little bit of a sort of like not lack of confidence, but like uh, a nod to wishing that I still had the like unfiltered confidence of youth, whereas I was coming more with like with the concerns of like adulthood,
Yeah.
and so actually like in that moment on that day was like whoa, like this is a big thing, and I think like the opportunity to make an album and release it and record it with a label and like the production that's gone into it is so vast and huge and beautiful that
Mm,
it sort of was a lot. And then I also, on the flip side, had songs on this record that are like 8, 9 years old. And so to have one that's so fresh and new, I was really excited that we decided to put it on the record. And then it became a single too. So it was
mm,
like, it was just perfect. I loved that it sort of encapsulated and covered my roots in roots music kind of thing. It just sort of, yeah, I loved that it made it on the
mm.
record and then made it single as well.
Yeah,
So.
and it's been well received on playlists, on radio and streaming platforms. So it must be an exciting time for you. So like with Homesick, does it kind of tell the story of like the old British kind of adage? There's no place like home. Home is where the heart is.
Yeah, I think like on one hand it is absolutely that, and it is about like hopefully finding that comfort and knowing how to embrace it or find it or even seek it out. And then the flip side of it is the verses kind of go into more about like figuring out the best way to do that now, or to be able to capture that joy and that pure essence of like comfort and confidence now, where you might feel like you've maybe lost it a little bit. And then home being that place where they can just provide you with that thing. So yeah, it's on one hand a joyous celebration, and the other hand is like sort of the doubts that come with
Mm,
just being a human,
mm,
like just that sort of thing. But then the joy comes from that. The joy comes from considering. The joy comes from looking back and reevaluating
mm,
situations, and so there is always like a positive outcome, I think, from
yeah,
self-reflection,
yeah.
even if the reflection itself maybe is a doubtful process.
Yeah.
I don't
Well,
know.
would you say the song's quite stripped back in the sense like the instrumentation like is like guitars and like vocals as well?
Yeah, we wanted to keep it. So I've been playing it. I played it a little bit just to test it out live. But it was just me and a guitar, wrote the whole thing, and so we were like, let's not take it too far away from that original form. So yeah, we did. We've layered it up with like drums and bass and some. We sort of leaned into the country instrumentation. So there's like a slide on there, and Matt Arnott brought in is an incredible drummer, but he actually does a lot of like trad stuff and plays for like big sort of trad bands up in Scotland.
Mm,
And so bringing that, yeah, that sort of country vibe, it just settled in real
yeah.
quick. It was a really quick recording process,
Yeah.
actually. It was
Because you
just
did mention
come together.
Americana, that does sometimes go hand in hand with country music, doesn't it?
Totally, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
sure.
definitely.
Moving straight on, you did mention you're releasing a new album, I'd Wait Again. What number album does this take you up to, and how many tracks are on this album?
This is it. This is the first one, the very
Oh,
first album. So I've released a bunch of music before when it's independently. So I've released some singles and I've released three different EPs with like sort of between 3 and 5 tracks on them. But this is the biggest project I've ever worked on. It's 12 songs. It's like everything across the whole span of my influences as a writer and musician. And then like on top of that, it's the first one that's going to be like pressed onto it's already been pressed onto vinyl, like it's getting made into records, like an actual record, which is
mm,
so exciting. So I get to go and see it be pressed out at Seabass Vinyl. It's in Scotland. It was an amazing process to see it, and then now I get to go and play it to everyone in the world.
yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited to go on tour and start playing the
Mm.
tracks from Tane to Devon. I'll be
Yeah,
playing shows.
sure. We'll mention that very shortly. I just wanted to touch on some of the tracks on your new album, which is out on the 25th of April. So you mentioned this album has something for everyone, and I listened to two songs, Sunshine and I Don't Want to Know. Are those two tracks when you hear them first time, they're kind of like more up tempo, more funkier, faster?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I wanted it to be varied, I love music and I love all kinds of different genres of music. And so I wanted to make sure that this had a little bit of everything on it. But the
Mm,
through line is me. So the through line is my vocal and my writing. And I think that that comes through enough to link up all the tracks, and you kind of go on this little journey of musical influence throughout my whole life through this record. And yeah, I wanted to make sure that there was some fun tracks on it and just make a fun
Mm,
album and just like lean into being, making like a record that's got highs and lows and a full journey on it. But yeah, so there's like those tracks that end up being like kind of little vibey and a little poppy, and then there's like Breathe You In is like the final track on the album, which is one I've been playing for years live, and I always close the set with that song,
mm,
and everyone sings along, and we like arm in arm swaying and singing along to the track, and that's on there as well. So it's like everything,
mm.
every space I would love to that I love and love to write and love to produce is on that
Yeah.
album. And to have someone like Marty like embrace that, it's just been amazing.
Yeah. One thing that draws me to listening to certain tracks on albums is the song titles. They do intrigue me.
Mm.
A bird song as well. It was a beautiful piano ballad. Did you enjoy the production on this one also?
Yeah, that was written with Russell Stewart, who's another Scottish singer-songwriter. It was the first time we'd ever written together, and we were like, he's kind of very like he's very cool, very cool, very amazing vocalist, like singer. And I was coming out of sort of the folky scene, and we were like, how can those two worlds collide? And we ended up on Birdsong, and it was just a lovely song to write. And actually, on that track specifically, the demo vocal from the original demo is the one on the album. We tried to re-record it, and it was just like, nope. We captured something
Mm.
that day that it was written. I recorded the vocal, and that's the one that's on the record. So that's kind of special too. I think I loved that some of the old demos just were zhuzhed up a bit into
Mm.
becoming the songs instead of, starting everything from scratch.
Yeah.
Um,
Sometimes it's nice to hear the original form of a song.
yeah, we didn't want to muck around with it too much.
Ah, that's good.
But yeah, so it's pretty um,
Cool.
raw, I
Yeah.
guess.
Who have you been like your musical inspirations and influences over the years?
I mean, everything and everyone. Like I love like so I grew up listening to things like standards. So like the Beatles, Billy Joel, Elton John, but also like a bit of musical theater, and then also like I was like a big pop fan. Like I'm a big pop fan. Love pop music. I think it's amazing,
Mm.
and so I wanted to zhoosh all of those together because I also love songwriters. Like I love like the Carpenters, and I love um like Paul Simon, and I love all of these like story songs. And so I wanted to kind of take all of those things and my love of pop production and pop music and squish them together, and kind of yeah, try and capture all of those influences in one album. I've been greedy probably, but there's
Yeah,
12
no,
songs, so we had
that's
room.
good.
We had room.
That's good. Why not? The sky's the limit when it comes to music. And right, better talk about your tour. You're setting out on a UK tour anytime soon, any day soon. Where can people find information about where you'll be? Like you start in out in Edinburgh, then you work your way down south. Just got a couple of dates here. So Sunday, 25th of May, the Frog Fest, High Wycombe, and then you close on the 26th of May, Piano Smithfield, Success Express in London.
Yeah, so I'm playing everywhere from like Tane to Devon. Like I was saying, it's going to be a really fun tour. Just mainly me with an acoustic guitar and some stories, and we can just hang out and have a lovely, wholesome time. It's going to be really good. But the best place to keep in touch and like find out where all the dates and stuff are is probably my website.
Mm.
So it's MikeMckenzieOnline.com. And that's I say the same as my social media handles and stuff too. That's all Mike McKenzie online. But yeah, and everything's all up there with all of the dates. And yeah, I'm going to be bopping about house concerts. I've got my little van, so we're going to be bopping about. And if anyone wants me to come and play in their garden or their living room, hit me up. I'll
Yes.
maybe like come and visit, bring some pals. It'll be delightful.
Yeah, it's good.
But yeah, and I have a mailing list on there as well, which is if you want to avoid the algorithms, then you
Mm.
can always just message me there, and it's a lot more it's easier to keep in
Yeah.
touch
And
via
how
that.
how do you find the music industry at present? I was just reading an article today on one of the girls from the Sugar Babes. She says that the music industry's um, in a better place where it's not so judged on like image. Do you find
Sure.
that these
Yeah, I
days?
mean, I think I'm kind of maybe lucky coming to it a little bit later, where I'm like feel good in the rest of my life. And I'm like, I have like a lovely husband, and we have our little border collie and our like nice little spot that we call home. And so honestly, I'm coming at it from such a personal, but also just like I'm just gonna do it the way that I want to do it, I think.
Mm.
And I'm hoping that is sustainable. I hope that I can continue to just do the things that I love most. And I think yeah, there's so many opportunities now too for independent artists and independent promotion of shows, and like to be able to kind of make a sustainable career now, I think is definitely viable and definitely
Mm.
possible. Whereas I think, yeah, before, it was like you needed a big record deal and you
Mm.
needed hundreds of money thrown at it to make it work. Whereas like
Yeah.
I think also like the end goal for me is to have a sustainable career in music.
Mm.
Like that's the dream. The dream is to just keep it going.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel lucky that I'm in a spot where I think also like being like a gay guy, like I think like being part of that community now, I think is a lot easier for me to kind of pursue and talk about, and I want to take advantage of that, and I want to make sure that that continues, and that like one of the first singles from this album was called Out Alive, and it was a calling card to like everyone in the LGBTQ plus community to say like my shows are a safe place, like my songs are for you, but also to people who aren't in that community or don't identify with that, to say here's the rules. If you're going to come, it's for everyone. So come with love, like come and join in, and join this like little wholesome
Mm.
group of or shows or music. And I think like that's really important to me, is to make sure that I am always like openly and authentically myself,
Mm.
because for a long, long time, people couldn't do that. And yeah, I think I have the most access to being truthfully myself and authentically myself. So why would I not? But yeah, I don't know if that answered that or not. But you know
Mm.
what I mean.
Yeah.
I think it's a changed industry and a changed world. But I think there's some good in that, and things are sort of becoming maybe more attainable for independent artists, which
That's
is
good.
cool. It's amazing. Yeah.
That's refreshing to hear. One final question: what was it like meeting, Fran Healy from Travis? I know you did a bit of work with him. Did he give you like any advice that you may like to share with my listeners? About.
Yeah, so it was when I'd won BBC Radio Scotland singer-songwriter of the year back in like 2019, and Fran was one of the judges for the award, and it was afterwards, and I got to play this beautiful show in St Luke's in Glasgow, which is this gorgeous big old church type theatre, not theatre, sorry, old church type venue,
Yeah.
and with a string trio playing a song that I'd written, and I won, and immediately afterwards, I think we're still on stage. Fran sort of leaned in and was like, "Take your time. There is no rush to do this. There is no rush to like force out anything too quick. There's no rush to do an album." He was like, if you take your time, you'll do it the way that you want to do it, and
Mm.
you'll do it right. And although I've taken probably longer than he expected to do the debut album, I'm so grateful for that advice, because I'd wait again is exactly what it says on the tin. Like I would wait again every single time if this is the outcome and this is how I feel about the record. But yeah, so he was amazing. He was very inspirational. And listen, if you get advice from someone that successful in music, you take it. So yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
wonderful inspiration. Yeah, yeah.
Well, it's been well, yeah, wonderful chatting with you today. And your new single "Homesick" is out now, and following on from that single, your new album "I'd Wait Again," available 25th of April onwards. Mike Mckenzie on today's program with me, Danny, here in the UK. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah,
It's been lovely.
nice chatting with you. And we're going to play your new single "Homesick" now on my show.
Brilliant. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and do check it out, Mike Mckenzie.